Every Monday I have flowers delivered to the shop, carnations. And we give carnations out. If it's a husband and wife, I give it to him. I say, here, give this to your wife. So we don't get beat up.
I get customers that rave about them. You know, we love your pens. Sure, take some, because there's 5,000 or 6,000 pens in the basement.
I kind of waste money doing oil changes. I know I shouldn't say that on here, but I feel like I don't make as much as I could on doing bigger repairs.
I'm making so much money from this new customer acquisition on Carnival Cruise Line because he takes like a dozen with him and he hides them throughout the ship.
You know what? Make it part of the person who's delivering the flowers, part of their tip. If they take the picture and post it to your Facebook page, you'll tip them more for the delivery. If you're not trying to grow your shop, you're not trying to develop your shop, then this podcast probably isn't right for you. You're probably just wasting your time. But if you are trying to grow your shop, if you are trying to figure out what's next, and you're trying to get ideas from other shop owners, this is the podcast for you. Welcome to the Garage Grit Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Hurlock of AA Shop Marketing, a digital marketing company for auto repair shops. And the reason we've even created this podcast is because we're trying to help as many shops as possible. We're on the marketing side with the AA Shop Marketing, of course, but we recognize that if you don't have your customer service or your front desk people dialed in, if you don't have your processes dialed in, it doesn't matter how many phone calls we bring to your shop if you can't actually build that trust going forward and through the whole process. And so, again, helping shops doesn't just mean for us helping them get more calls. It also means helping them, which is why we've created this podcast. If you're not trying to grow your shop, if you're not trying to develop your shop, then this podcast probably isn't right for you. You're probably just wasting your time. But if you are trying to grow your shop, if you are trying to figure out what's next, and you're trying to get ideas from other shop owners, this is the podcast for you. And today we're going to be talking about how to determine your marketing budget for the year. I've seen a lot of shops where they just kind of shoot from the hip. Okay, let's spend that. Or they'll just go and cut this expense, this expense, and this expense. In my opinion, and I'm probably talking too fast because I've had plenty of caffeine, but in my opinion, you need to be a little bit more planned out than that. It doesn't need to be a shoot from the hip type scenario. I'm a big fan of actually planning everything. And so sometimes I go too far on that, but maybe you need to go further on that if you're listening in. We're going to hear from 3 different shop owners, and let's actually not wait another minute. Let's actually introduce each other. And let's start with Joe. Joe, tell me a little bit about your shop. Tell me a little bit about you, and we'll go from there.
We are in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. It's rural-ish. It's growing rapidly, which is kind of where my marketing is coming into play. Started in 1980. I started there 23-ish years ago. I pushed brooms, made my way up to be a master tech, won Automotive Technician of the Year for Napa in this area. I bought the business in November.
Okay.
So, second in command for probably 6 months or so. But the old owners are like parents to me. I love it. It's been great.
Nice. Well, welcome to shop ownership.
All right, I have 5 employees, 3 base shop, 3 technicians, 1 advisor, and a customer service rep. And I'm getting ready to hire another advisor.
Okay. All right. Very, very good. Drew, how about if you take a turn?
So I'm in Midland, Texas. We're in West Texas. It's kind of got a sister city, Midland and Odessa, Texas. If you've watched that stupid show, Landman, you know where we're at. I get a lot of, I'm from Midland and Landman, but anyway.
Yeah. Do you watch that show?
So I do. It's good, but to laugh at it a lot too. It's not exactly correct, but it's not that wild out here. We do some crazy stuff getting old, but it's not that wild.
Okay. All right.
So
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I have a 24 bay under one roof garage. I run 6 techs usually. Got a couple guys up on the front desk. I do front desk also. I used to have a parts department, but now I have all the service writers. We kind of do our own parts, and I have my wife that does the bookkeeping behind the scenes and a courtesy driver.
Okay.
And we run quite a few cars through the shop a month.
Okay. All right. Good. Kevin, take a turn.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kevin Reichelt from Stellar's Garage here in beautiful Shelton, Connecticut, home of wiffle ball or charter firearms, whichever you prefer. This will be our 76th year in business. Stellar's Garage started across the street.
You look good.
Well, thank you. You know, I don't want to get into it, but I just wiped his stuff on my face and then jacks me up. So Stellar's Garage has been around since 1950. It was originally owned by George Stellar. He sold it to one of his employees in like 1972, Phil Kerr. Phil Kerr offered it business to Eric Gladixon, who was my business partner. Eric's been with Stellar since like 1984. And Eric brought me in as a partner. The building we're in now used to be New England Ambulance Service. I was a technician there, and we were bought out by American Medical Response, but I was friends with everybody at Stellar's, and luckily I had the opportunity to get in at the ripe old age of 26. So I was thrown into business ownership, management type things, and realized that I had to learn how to be a business owner and get involved with, running and directing the ship. So we are currently, we're a 6-bay facility. I have 3.5 techs. He's not a midget. He only works half a day. We have 2 people in the, two service riders. Typically, we're just bringing on another one very soon. And we average about 80, anywhere from 75 to 90 cars a week, which really is disruptive for our average repair order. But we do last year just over 1.75 mil. My goal is 2 mil. It's not unobtainable, but I've had problems with service riders in the last year or so. So we're on track to do that. We starting, in another couple of weeks here, the gentleman I'm bringing on is very motivated. My guys are bonused off of their performance. And so in the back as well as in the front. So they also, have 401k plus matching and all that stuff. So it does help motivate the employees, and they know that we're looking out for them. And, again, so this is the 30th year. This year coming up is the 30th year that Eric and I will be in business together. In 2017, believe it or not, he has put up with me for 30 years, but in 2017, we started another LLC or another entity to purchase the property. So we have several buildings here, not automotive related, but we also do 24-hour towing, and we do New Hampshire oil undercoating to stop vehicles from rotting. We've been doing that for a number of years, but we rent a different facility for that. So myself and my partner are trying to be more of an absentee owner, or just, kind of moving on, helping other shop owners out with this kind of stuff, as well as taking care of our employees. Well, that's kind of our my elevator speech.
Okay. All right. So your long-term vision is to do more podcasts.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, welcome aboard. I'm glad for that. You got me thinking about a couple of different things. I mean, the marketing budget and how much you want to grow aren't necessarily islands unto themselves, right? I mean, I would imagine that if your technicians are paid, are motivated to by performance-based pay or by number of jobs or those types of things, that they want you to spend more money on marketing as well, because they're going to be able to potentially make more money. Do you ever have any of your employees say, "Can you get me more cars, please?"
Lately, no. But here's the other thing. Before we go down this rabbit hole of marketing, there's so much involved with marketing. I mean, the way, like, these shirts are considered marketing. You know what I mean? I have so much crap that I give away. I'm having these little Stellar's Garage lapel pins made now just because, we have koozies, we have, mug glasses, we have all of that. But also, like, just, I survey my guys every year, and if people aren't doing this, and I say this a lot in different places I'm at, every year I have these guys write, and myself, I have them in front of me for my own personal goals of 2026 for Kevin, for Stellar's Garage, and I have Kevin's Stellar's Garage goals. So all my technicians do it. Everybody that's here does it. And what that does for me is it allows me to get inside their mind. And one year, they're like, we want to clean the shop, because the shop hasn't been painted since the 90s. And we ended up painting the shop. And I have so many people that come in and they're like, the inside of the shop, and they're like, what a difference, like it's clean, it's nice. What happens then is you throw 30 years worth of stuff out, and then, you start anew. So some of my marketing, I consider that part of a marketing budget, but I really don't. So when we're talking marketing, you got to say, all right, overall, like, what's your marketing budget, right? And I kind of like break it down into segments. And again, so I don't really advertise towing. I hate towing, like the whole side of it, because everybody's miserable when they get towed in. New Hampshire oil undercoating, they're happy with. I used to have an accessory store, dealing with tonneau covers, ladder racks, everything fun. everything fun. People go to, a tag sale, they buy 2 kayaks, and you're thinking, I'm going to go with my kids. We're going to go do this. We're going to do that. And they come to my store and they spend $1,500 on racks, right? Same guy, he's driving home. His pedal goes to the floor. We say, you need brakes. It's going to cost you, back then, it's like $350. Guy loses his mind because he's got to spend $350 on his.
Right.
So when we talk about the marketing budget, we should divide it into different segments of, what you consider.
Fair enough.
We're talking about.
All right. No, let's dive in on that. So, does the marketing budget include, in your mind, Kevin already kind of weighed in on it, Drew and Joe, does the marketing budget include you cleaning up the front of your shop for curb appeal? Or in your case, Drew, just keeping the doors open?
I mean, absolutely. I think that you do have to keep appearances up. I do consider changing my sign into, LED brighter lights from incandescent. When I did that, it was quite an expense. That's part of my marketing budget, even though it's technically coded under building repair. I think part of my marketing too. And so yes, I do believe that I had a delivery driver from O'Reilly's run into the front of my shop and went through hell with their insurance. They would not actually pay to get it fixed. So a lot of that came out of my money, but out of my I almost consider that a little bit marketing too, even though it's technically building repair and that's how it's taxed and everything. But no, if I leave my building looking caved in on that corner because the delivery driver hit it, are you really going to want to come to my shop? So yes, I totally agree with Kevin that is part of the marketing budget, even though technically it might not be.
Okay. All right. So when you're coming up with that marketing budget, I would imagine your marketing budget percentage based on, if you just did a percentage of annual sales, for example, that your percentage is going to be significantly higher than somebody who isn't going to include that in their marketing budget, right? So now, do both of you, Joe, do you have any thoughts on whether or not you think the building repairs or for a curb appeal would be considered marketing? Do you plan on doing it that way?
Absolutely. We strive on everything being clean. And even the inside of the building. So when customers come in, they're like, this doesn't look like an auto repair shop. We don't have any type of Napa tires, like that kind of stuff. It's more like a doctor's office. And I mean, the amount of coffee and snacks we give away and the pens, which are huge with our customers. But yeah, curb appeal and even inside the building.
Okay. So curb appeal, appearances, that's part of your marketing budget. You mentioned pens and other trinkets and giveaways. Yeah. I've got a particularly different view of those types of things. I'm not a big fan of pens. I find it interesting that people like the pens for you, and that's great. I feel like pens are everywhere, and it's just like I lose them as fast as I get them anyway. And I rarely write down things on paper anyway. So it's, I don't know. I prefer to find things that are a little bit more costly, but also very useful.
Yeah.
Right. So, I love power banks, putting names on power banks. I mean, that's people, you're about to have a power outage, Drew, right? With the weather that's coming in. And so, right. So, if everyone had a bunch of power banks to keep their phones going for those 3 days, God forbid, they would remember your name because it's on it, right? And so I actually had a guy who reached out to me from he was over in Europe and he forgot to bring. I guess their outlets are different, right? Over in Europe,
Yep.
their outlets are different.
Yep.
He didn't have an adapter. He lived off our power bank for a while he was there. And so because we gave him a really high end power bank that was able to charge.
Yeah.
his
What are you
phone
giving away?
6 times.
Jackeries? Like this big with your name on it?
He only was doing it with his phone. He wasn't doing everything. Right. But like a 20,000 mAh. I mean, that can charge a phone a handful of times, right? And keep it going. So
that is really
on
something. Oh, sorry. That is really something that I feel strongly about. Works. My wife is really involved in PTA around. She gives gifts to a lot of the teachers and stuff, and other people too. And we will market our stuff on, especially the better items too, so that as they're using this, they see Wall Street Automotive, all over Wall Street Automotive, and they're using this. Oh, I like that. Gave me that. Well, I get a lot of business from giving out gift baskets, which, I mean, we were doing that before, but it's like, why not brand on these? Get business. We figured that out years ago, and it's brought me in a lot of business. So it's kind of conventional, but it works.
That's really interesting. So you're donating those gift baskets with branded items
Yes.
to the PTA, and they're raffling them off, and people are buying because it's a fundraising event.
We just give them to every teacher. We do certain schools and stuff, and might not be giving out like $100+ gift baskets, but they're pretty nice gift baskets, and they say Wall Street all over it, and they're very appreciative. And I have got a lot of business. Oh, my wife got this gift basket from you, and that's why I called you.
I love it.
That worked.
That's a fun idea. That's right. Okay. So that's again, useful things that are going to be appreciated as opposed to everyday things. Right. And so, and what can you do that's a little bit, not done all the time? One of the things that we've talked about to people to do is get like so I don't know if this is an issue in Texas, or maybe it is, maybe it's dry enough that it just evaporates, but the condensation off of your cup in the cup holder, you end up with a puddle in your cup holder, right? In your car. So get a soapstone that actually absorbs that moisture and then brand it. There it is. It's just sitting in the car at all times, right? So, try to think creatively and do, that's what I try to recommend, is think creatively and make sure that it's useful stuff that will, you want to go crazy, get everyone that gets a certain level of service from you, spends $1,000 or more, also gets a Yeti mug. I don't know. That's, maybe mugs are too common. Who knows? But that's, think outside the box and think higher end as opposed to the lowest cost per item.
So I should stop writing my name with a black magic marker on a styrofoam cup and give it to him. So
yeah. Well, it's a signature. You got a signature of mine. This is worth something someday. Yeah. Good luck with that. So, but Joe, what about the pens do they like?
So my wife probably has 4 of them here.
Okay.
Well, they got the stylus on the end.
Okay.
That's huge. They're
Yes.
comfortable and they write well. I get customers that rave about them. We love your
Okay.
pens, and then I said, sure, take some, because I bet you we have 5,000 or 6,000 pens in the basement.
But there's a scenario where you didn't necessarily go for the cheapest pen
No.
available,
No,
right?
no.
Exactly. You
No.
went for something that actually was going to be useful
No,
for somebody.
it was
Perfect.
They were on sale. I think they were about $2 a piece.
Okay.
But again,
Okay.
and then the little lip gloss thing, lip balm.
Okay.
Customers love that, and I think that was a little cheaper because it's lip balm. But yeah, those customers love those pens.
Interesting. Okay.
Free mugs, you do those.
I want to.
Don't-
We did. I did 4. No, Shelly, the old boss, the older owner did. I think we got like 2 boxes of them.
I found
and we handed them out.
the company doesn't break them on the way to you. I found that's a
No.
cheap advertisement.
Yeah, I forget.
So actual like ceramic coffee mugs?
Yeah,
You're
it
talking
was.
about like stainless steel.
No, it's ceramic.
It's regular ceramic.
Yeah.
Okay.
A stainless steel would be a lot better. I'm not giving everybody
Wow.
Not yet. Okay.
We've
All right.
given out the thermoses, yeah, but I don't know what brand they were. I don't do all that.
Okay. So when you come up with your marketing budget, are you saying, okay, I want this much money for my building repair this year, and that's going to be in my marketing budget, and I want this much money for branded giveaways, and I want this much money for digital, and this much money for snail mail, and this much money for, so like, do you break it down, or do you actually just say, I want to spend 15% of my gross annual sales on marketing? Okay, how do I want to divvy it up?
So I don't know how taxes work up, but down here in Texas,
Poorly.
I'm sure y'all pay a lot more than me, but in Texas, whatever you make, that profit that you're paying taxes off of, I think it's pretty much the same for y'all too. Might be a little different. That kind of dictates my budget for what I'm going to repair the shop with, because my accountant will call and tell me, hey, made this much money, we can basically pay this much to the government, or we can do building repairs, this, that, and the other, that, technically aren't going to be considered what we're talking about advertising, but it is, like Kevin was saying in the beginning, that is advertising. A lot of that's dictated by, hey, you had a really good year this year. Oil was up this year. We made a lot of money. Put some more back into the business. And, you're paying some money extra, but a lot of that will come off of your tax deduct because you're putting it back in the business. So that dictates my budget quite a bit.
Okay. So you're not using a percentage or a formula. It's, did I have a profitable year? I'm going to reinvest and continue to have a profitable
I have
next
a
year.
loose formula, but it changes with the conditions.
Okay. All right. So what's the formula?
I don't want to spend more than I did in a previous year if I'm having a good year. Oil really dictates how good of a year we have here. If the price of a barrel of oil is good, we're going to have more business than we can handle. And I still do my normal advertising, like putting the signs at the Little League fields and stuff, and, the local stuff and the baskets. But I don't do aggressive advertising. If the price of a barrel of oil is really low, I will be more aggressive with advertising. So it kind of fluctuates with my economy. There's a lot of times when oil's really high that I don't need any advertisement because I'm literally not turning customers away, but almost turning customers away. I'm not trying to or anything, but it gets like that in Midland. If you're not really busy when oil's good in Midland and Odessa, you are doing something wrong.
That's really interesting. Okay. All right. Joe, what about you? Have you ever thought about this? Do you have any ideas or hopes or plans?
For like budgeting it. So like I said, I just took over in November. We have meeting with my accountant at 3:00 for my quarterly review. So, and that
Nice.
was a topic. So I'm just kind of flowing with what the old owner had.
Right.
So we do like Dollars for Scholars, where we give out an automotive scholarship to the local high school. We have a huge 55 and up community being built as we speak. And we have a ton of new clients, and we are there all the time. We do, they do coffee days. So we go in, we set up a table and, mingle with our current customers, and then they come in and we talk to the new customers. And so what they do is I pay for usually 6 or 8 hours of everybody's coffee. So they'll come in, get coffee, and I just pay the bill at the end.
Okay.
So like the budgeting, it's, right now I'm just kind of flowing with what we've already successful.
Yep.
So,
all right. Well, feel free to, and by the way, I don't know that I mentioned this before, but guys, I don't want to be doing all the asking of questions. I want you guys to ask each other questions as well. So if you hear something that Drew or Kevin or Joe says, and you want to dial it, kind of dive in a little bit more or find out more, please do that. Okay. So Kevin, how about you? Do you actually have a massive here by marketing budget, and then you decide this is going to be for appearance, this is going to be for tchotchkes, this is going to be for snail mail, etc., or do you actually have this 5 different marketing categories and it's based on last year's profit, this year's need?
I just spend. I'm a gambling man. I just throw the money out there, see what sticks. It's funny. We're talking about the when I analyze, I guess we'll shop analysts, but when you analyze all the stuff that you spend money on that's not directly related to your running of the business, it starts to get overwhelming. Like, I donated a park bench, a dog park. I donated a bench to the dog park years ago, right? It was Stellar's Garage on there, whatever, right? I didn't consider that marketing. I kind of like it's something I wanted to do. All the the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, the softball teams, Little League, that kind of stuff. I know, like, I categorize that as like, a donation or something. I mean, we donate to local, churches when they need it. We don't advertise. Here's the other thing. I feel weird, by like putting on a Facebook page, like Stellar's Garage just did this for a church, or Stellar's Garage just did this for Little League or whatever. But and we don't. Eric, my business partner, and I live in another town that our business is in, but we support that town's T-ball and Little League and stuff like that, especially during when they were struggling with it. So I don't really consider that part of marketing, but it is, right?
It is. And by the way, can I just make you feel better about on how to present that on Facebook?
No, you can't.
You ready?
Yeah, I'll listen to it.
Don't be like, don't say, look what we did. Just give them a shout out.
Yeah.
This is a great organization. If you're not a part of it already, go check them out.
No, I'd still rather just post the food that we ate for lunch.
Okay.
No, I really have to start doing
with the name of the organization in the backdrop. Do it that way. How about that? You're eating a New Haven pizza.
Just opened up across the street. By the way, I'll give them a plug. No, so the other thing about so I'm trying to stay within the rules here. So last year I did a marketing campaign that included this one company included. I mean, I do Google AdWords and stuff that I don't do it with them, but it was I did a 15-second and a 30-second video. This was our 75th anniversary, right? And that video was played on streaming content, Roku, YouTube, all sports channels. And of course, it goes after the demographic of the person and who I want to kind of get in and in that, right? And the same company, I also do geofencing. And if nobody's familiar with geofencing, is basically if you look down at a map, you drop these little pins, and then
and you stay with
Stellar's
your
Garage is going to
geofence.
be dominant there as far as you being on your phone, right? So I did that in our local Main Street area. And people were out on their phones at the bars or restaurants or whatever, and also in their homes because there's a lot of presence of apartment buildings down there. And I also did it in a corporate environment. We have this thing in town called the Corporate Towers, and it's several buildings that are 7 to 10 stories high, and it's pretty much a lot of it is a medical, so they got a lot of downtime sitting there waiting to talk to somebody, so they're on their phone. That's okay. It's kind of hard to track with, how many people were, came to me from that, source. So it's important when you're doing marketing that your service department for new customers always ask, get all their data and then really dive deep. And it's kind of intrusive, but, how did you hear about us? What did you, where did you, on the internet, what did you do? I Googled auto repair or something. I looked at your reviews and all that. It's hard to find the ROI on it. I did a marketing campaign. I never planned on spending this type of money, but this was years ago, and I did an every door direct mailer, and I think it was like $3,200 a run or something like that. I spent $50,000 on that campaign, and I received over $250,000 in revenue, and I received my customer value at that time another $250,000 on new customers. So we had the value of the repairs, and then we had whatever you value. You could $700 of value of customer annually, $1,000, however you want to consider it. So that was a pretty good return, right? $50,000 to get $500,000 worth of of revenue, if you would. So it varies, but I lose focus on everything we do. And here's a tip, especially for Joe, and I don't know, or anybody else within earshot. I use Google Calendars for different things, and I have a Google Calendar marketing calendar. So if I know I have to review this ad, if something that's coming up every month or whatever, and I mentioned that we do New Hampshire oil undercoating, that is a different revenue stream. I don't run it as a separate business, but I market it differently. So I will market to a broader audience, because I get people from Rhode Island, from Massachusetts, from New York for New Hampshire oil undercoating. I don't want to market to those people for automotive repairs because they're not going to come to my shop. So, there's a lot to consider, when it comes to that. But the other source of marketing that every Monday, and I think Brad, I talked to you about this, but every Monday I have flowers delivered to the shop, carnations. Yeah. And we give carnations out. Every woman, every female or a dude, if it's a husband and wife, I give it to him. I say, here, give this to your wife. So we don't get beat up. No, but that started as years ago with a Valentine's special. We did for the month of February, we gave red carnations out, and it went over so big. We talk about social media. One woman, and this is what hit me because I probably still have the picture, but she had a picture of this carnation on her steering wheel of her Jeep, and she was saying how she had such a terrible day. Her life was upside down, and it was even worse to go get her car repaired, right? Because nobody wants to spend money. And then she said, I want to give a shout out to the guys at Stellar's that really cheered me up with this, and it just, we're not trying to make dates or anything. We just want to make people feel good. So flowers, right. My grandfather had a florist for years. I mean, we had it and I, it was always, I remember say it with flowers, right? So we went from red carnations to green because St. Patrick's Day is up, and then it was red, white, and blue. So we just decided to do every Monday now we get flowers in. That's kind of part of my marketing budget. It just becomes part of the foundation. You know what I mean? So a lot of different stuff. And we were talking earlier about swag and giveaway stuff. And, we have so many different things that we have and we give away. Right. And then, I don't know if you guys ever been to Harley Davidson places when you travel and you buy a Harley shirt and you're like, wow, this is cool. Right. And say it's St. Louis and they got the arch and they got a Harley there and they got, Budweiser or whatever is in the local area. I was joking before about Charter Firearms and wiffle ball. I looked at having Stellar's Garage shirts made up because we have an old record we don't have it anymore, but we had old 50s record So like the Harley Davidson style Stellar's Garage shirts would incorporate, Charter Firearms, Wiffle Ball, the Jones's Family Farm that's here. And that would be cool marketing, and it's outside the box for, giveaways and t-shirts. So
you might want to make sure that you have permission to use
I got permission. They're
image.
customers of ours.
Even better. But I what's that, Drew?
Do you sell the shirts, Kevin, or do you give them
I don't
away?
know. So far, I have the shirts that I've had. I haven't made those yet. This is an idea in my head, but I would probably do both. You know what I mean? But the thing is, like, I got to be honest, dude. Yeah, I'm not going to mention the place. I went to go get breakfast, and they had like these stickers out there, and I order everybody breakfast, and I says I'm going to take one of these stickers, and they're like, okay, and then I leave, I come back, and of course I give my 10% tip and all that, right? And the guy's like, hey, how much did that cost today? Because it's something new to us, and I'm like, it was $60 for breakfast, and I look, there's a $3 charge for my sticker. I was like, I'm glad I didn't grab that $5 magnet. No, so. But I've had people ask me lately if they want hoodies. You want Stellar's Garage hoodies or want stuff. And here's the other problem. I don't know if you guys, buy your own employee stuff, but I'm a member of this yacht club, and I have $200 a year I have to spend, and it's either on alcohol or clothing, and I don't drink there. So I was buying clothing. I bought this dry duck raincoat with their logo on it. And I'm like, this is really nice. And then I had some more money, so I gave it to one of my guys that I go here at this shop that you go fishing with all the time. Then I had to get one for my partner. And then I'm like, you know what? I just got 14 of these stupid raincoats with our Stellar's Garage logo on them, and they're awesome. Now, Dry Duck makes a lot of good quality stuff, right? So now I got this hoodie the other day. I'm like, oh man, now I got to spend $60 or $80 a hoodie. So my marketing budget is fluid. Like Drew was saying, I don't really know. So to give you the golden number, Brad, I would say 5%. 5% of gross sales is what I have for a marketing idea and a budget. But some of it's like Drew was saying, building maintenance is different. We have two entities, like I was saying. So we have Stellar's Garage, and then we have another LLC that Eric and I own the property. So depending on how much money we're taking in or letting out, we got to play that game. So we painted the shop. Well, it's marketing, but it comes out of the building management type of budget.
Sure.
So again, there's so much to be had in different facets of marketing. And the thing is, like, you guys are busy. Drew, you're saying that you kind of ebb and flow. We've been really busy since COVID. Like, it's just been insane. And now we're starting to see a little change industry wide that, well, people are, holding on to their money. So and when I say I do like, 80 to 90 vehicles a week, and my average repair order is junk. But lately we get between, round figures, 10 to 18 new customers a week. So we have to, how you just can't do $4,000 worth of work to a new customer. They're kind of just feeling you out, and spending $3 on that sticker. But it goes from there. No, but, so there's a lot of, dynamic, like, Brad, into trying to nail the number down. So like, if we do 2 million a year in sales, that's 100,000 that, I could spend theoretically on, marketing, right?
Right. And so if I hear you right, you're shooting for that 5% number of the gross annual, and you don't allocate it all at once. That's why it's fluid for you. You say, here's my benchmark. Okay, this is a good idea. Let's do it. But you haven't actually planned it out in January, all of those dollars. You have some of it planned, but not all.
So prior to this podcast, I got off an hour-long meeting, if you would, about what I'm going to do with this company. And honestly, it's a salary. The amount of money I'll be spending on that is somebody's, like, it's a salary. And then to justify that is to try and see, what it is a month and things like that. Every door direct mailers, like I was saying back then, was $3,000 for 10,000 people. They're over $5,000 now for 10,000 mailers. Not the same. I don't do every door direct mailers anymore. As much as I need to kind of think about that, see where it's going to work. But I see a big return, like we were talking earlier about Google and Google AdWords, and just online. Your online your online presence and all of that is huge. So again, I don't know if you guys really look into what it costs you for your website and Google AdWords and break it down per line item, because I don't. It's just an overall, I don't want to exceed that threshold. And also, because it's fluid, I at least like to see what the return on investment is. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I said, I'm a gambler. I'm willing to spend that money to see, if is it going to grow or is it going to shrink? And over a period of time, just like stock investment, over a period of time, you don't want to get out just because it's not performing well. There could be other things, and you want to do the root cause analysis to see why that's not doing, working for you, which you should. So,
do you think that's a typical problem for a lot of shop owners, where they try something and then they cut out on it too early before they've determined whether or not it's actually a good thing for them?
It depends on the shop owner. It depends on their education of marketing and how much they really want to. What's the rules? Well, either 3 or 5. So you want to run it for a while, like that. I'm gonna tell you, the company that I was dealing with for my Every Door direct mailer, he found it difficult to deal with me, and he's no longer with the company. We're still friends. But the thing was, like, I had it my way. Like, okay, I want my print to say this. I want my phone number in there. I want. And he's like, all right. So he's taking all these notes. He says, Kev, I'm going to tell you straight up. It's going to cost you $3,000. You could either do it your way and get no results, or you can do my way and get good results. And he's like, you're going to spend the money, but I don't know how many months you won't feel like doing this. So I'm like, you know what, dude, let's just do it your way. Right. I mean, it was really hard for me as a shop owner because, I'm paying for it. It's got to be my way, but that's his business. So when with anything in life, the more you want to grow, you just got to kind of start, delegating authority, letting the people that do things well, do it. You know what I mean? And I had a really good result from that. Yeah, but that was a while ago. You know what I'm saying? I'd have to really look up the year. There's certain successful actions that I had in place that just changed. You know what I mean? And again, you want to do if somebody could do a penetration rate to see, okay, how many customers, I give them my whole customer list. I don't give them a lot of data, but I give them addresses, right? And they're like, okay, you're at like a 0.003% penetration rate in this area, for zip code or zone or whatever. And if you have a certain target you want to meet, you do that. So for instance, I wanted to hit, you would think you want to hit the more affluent areas, right? You want to hit the places the money's at, right?
They always buy new cars though.
Yeah.
You want to go for the middle.
I want to go within a mile and a mile and a half radius so I could shuttle those people back and forth, or they could, walk home if need be. And it was amazing the amount of money that we generated from that.
I had a mailer. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go right ahead.
I had a mailer program that I didn't see the ROI that I thought it was worth it. So I kind of augmented it. I got in contact with some realtors, and what I do is when somebody buys a new house, we have a lot of people that move in and out of Midland. You'll come here for an old job and then you'll get shipped out. So there's a lot of new people in and out of this town a lot. It's kind of a weird dynamic. If you move into this town, I make sure that you get a very nice flyer in your hand when you move in. If you need any automotive work, just give me a holler and we'll take care of you. And I have found that has been my best ROI for mailers. It's not like
specifically
mailer.
Like the welcome wagon for new.
A welcome package of some sort. But you're actually doing a welcome flyer, but you could probably upgrade it to a welcome package.
It's in there with not the whole gift basket, but a little bit of swag stuff,
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, the point I was trying to make was that if it's not working for you, it's probably something you're doing wrong. And this guy did it right. You know what I mean? He already.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What?
I didn't think I had your guy. I don't.
No, without it, you probably didn't. But anyways, so
But I mean, I think paper mail is. I think from what I've seen, that paper mailing is an effective strategy in different areas. It doesn't always work in every single area the same way. And as Kevin's pointing out, it also could be the advisor that you're using to tell you which targets to hit.
The marketing piece.
Joe, I think a snail mail campaign or postcard campaign would work great in an over 55 community.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And you combine that with Drew's idea of a welcome package of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would go over really, really well.
We stopped doing direct mailing about 2
Okay.
years ago. So we stick with more of the text message and email blasts. But that's a good idea, at least to target that 55 and up.
Specifically the 55
then, because they're not just throwing mail away like my generation.
Right. Listen, I like to get my mail once a week on Wednesdays because on Wednesdays is the night that I take my trash cans out. So it's next to my mailbox. It's really easy to just throw it right in the recycling bin in the dark. I don't even know when it's going there. I need to pay attention to my mail a few times a year. It's when I get the tax bills for my property. So like that's those 3 times a year are the 3 pieces of mail that I care about. The rest, it just goes. Yeah, I don't even see.
Okay, so I'm going to argue this point.
And by the way, I'm close to being able to move into that 55 and over community, and I'm still not doing that. But I'm sorry. Go. You're going to argue this point. Go ahead, Kevin.
Let's not talk age, okay? I was trying to find a filter on this so that my eyes, my wrinkles don't look as bad as they do. But I'm not.
I recommend darker lighting.
For being over 80 years old here since but
you started to shop when you were 4.
Lost the train of thought about the paper.
We're talking about paper. We're talking about snail mail.
So
age group.
Yeah, no, it is age related, but it's so funny because, all right, so for the New Hampshire oil undercoating thing that I do, it is listed your alternative Stellar's Garage, your alternative to dealer repair, and there's automotive stuff listed there. But I got like all my guys are in that picture, right? And one of my techs lives 30 miles away or so, and people are like, I recognize you. You know what I mean? It's like, it's funny because people like, I know you from somewhere. And people come up to me too. They're like, where do I know you from? Like, I don't know. But now with the TV, now with the video or whatever, I have my lead tech in there, my partner and myself. So you don't know the marketing's working, but you do know that somebody's seeing it. You know what I mean? So, there's different, there's different levels of, what you want to do. Joe, like you, I don't remember. I have to really look the last time I did it every door direct mailer for new customer acquisition for automotive repair. But there's a really good book if you want to read through it. It's The Millionaire Next Door. And it's an old book, and it just kind of lets you know, it was enlightening to me to realize, what type of demographic of people I want to hit and who comes to me, who my customers are. But, I don't do, and as I was talking about earlier today, as well as I really need to get in place a, recommended referral program. And I don't know a really good referral program, and I want to find one that really works. But some people don't want to be rewarded with money or discount. Maybe they want to be rewarded with food. But a referral program, that to me is a good in-house new customer acquisition. Some people will tell you never to do like a new customer acquisition outside like a direct mail or anything like that. They will tell you just to market within your top 20%. You know what I mean, of your customer base, because they love you. They've been coming to you for a long time. They spend a lot of money and they will refer you. And that just happens by default here. But if I wanted to push it and I say, hey, I need some more customers, man, who do you got that's in the area or whatever? I'm sure you guys have sponsored like golf tees and, golf tournaments in the tees or there's different things that you could do.
Yeah. And that's and there again is a donation.
Yeah.
You're not measuring your return by putting a tee box, a sign on the tee.
So
you're not.
Has anybody did like loyalty rewards?
That's what I was talking. Well, that's what I want to kind of enter. That's I have not done it, but that's what I was thinking about doing was like kind of combine it, the loyalty rewards and a referral program, because that's more loyalty. You know what I mean? Not only did they had 10 oil changes, so here you go. But if they were to refer people, now I do in my software keep track of people that they come in and say Joe Smith said, hey, this, and then we will send Joe Smith something at the end of the year. I get kickbacks from other garages that I refer to my transmission shop. If we say no, we're not going to sublet it. We'll just go see this guy, and he thanks us. He'll send us a check. So loyalty program work 2 ways. You want to do your customer base and then other businesses.
So I think my point of sale system will track that. Does yours? Like referral? Like
correct. Yeah.
Okay. So can you talk, I don't know if we're allowed, can you talk about what point of sale we use?
I have.
Sure. Go ahead. No. I'm saying absolutely.
Yeah,
I use the covered wagon of automotive management systems. And a lot of
VR,
people are, trading those covered wagons in for like Maseratis. But
I know Techmetric. I use Techmetric, and I know.
Yeah, that's the Maserati I'm referring to.
Oh, man.
Right.
And I know that has a loyalty rewards integration with it. I didn't know if anybody looked into that or has done it. We used to do loyalty rewards, and then we had to like manually track it, and it just wasn't worth it.
It's a lot of work
It's
to
so
manually
much.
track it. Drew, is your POS? You said it does track that, and are you doing anything like that, Drew?
So I did, but not find the ROI was really worth it. So no, I haven't done that for quite some time. I don't really do a customer loyalty program like, I'm not a quick lube place really. And all my techs are AC certified, and I kind of waste money doing oil changes. I know I shouldn't say that on here, but I don't make as much as I could on doing bigger repairs. So we will do oil changes if you need it, but I don't have anything like that. And I have found that customer loyalty thing, it's not like a in writing thing, but if you're a good loyal customer, I will let you know at the front desk, and I'm not saying that you're going to get special treatment over somebody else, but maybe your car will go in a little faster than the others because you've been for a while through customers. So you know how it goes.
Okay. So you're saying don't regiment it. You don't need to regiment it. The customers that love you, they're going to talk to you about you on social media if you give them the opportunity. Kevin, I don't know how often you're actually recommending people to take pictures of the carnation and getting that posted on social media. But I feel like you've got a carnation ducky Jeep opportunity.
That's flowers or something like that. That's a really good idea. I like that.
At the very least, the end of the week, you still have fresh flowers on the counter. You know what I mean?
I can't go wrong. And give them your
No, but where I'm going from a social media perspective, from a marketing perspective, right?
Make sure the flower, whereas they're not going to take a picture. Like $5 off a brake job coupon, they're going to take a picture of the flower.
Well, in the ducky Jeep thing.
Uh-oh.
Hold on.
Okay, so it's like if you can't beat them, join them thing. It's like, dude, we get so many Jeeps in here. Like between the
Wait. Does that duck say Stellar's Garage?
yeah,
Did
that's
I
what
miss
I
that?
was showing you, bro. It's
I'm sorry. I turned away and yeah, okay. All right.
So
Those are the ones that go away.
so
we idea.
we started giving those stupid things away. And I have a friend of mine. I didn't know this is a thing on cruise ships. They hide a duck.
Never cruise.
Yeah, so I'm making so much money from this new customer acquisition on Carnival Cruise Line because he takes like a dozen with him and he hides them throughout the ship. But the thing is, it's still a fun thing. You know what I mean? But yeah, the stupid duck. And I carry these in my car now. Just anytime I'm out and I see one, I plop it in. I got to share. Speaking of carrying stuff in your car, can I mention names? Right? Yeah, Monaco Motors. Wade. Lennon, I believe his name is. It's just I just know people by first name. Anyways, for years, part of his marketing was he does high-end BMW stuff like that, right? So he will have he actually paid a guy to go out into shopping centers. You get permission to be on their property, and then he'd be like whatever Walmart, and his guy would take a flyer for his shop, and it would be that model car. So he wanted to target. I'm not a BMW guy, but let's say it was a special model, right? And he would go up, and he would put it in the driver's side window. So as they're going up, it's not on their windshield, you know what I mean? And it was like an introduction service to their company, get to know us or whatever. When you put it on somebody's windshield, they're pissed because they get in the car now, they see it, they got to take it off, or they're walking up to it, they think it's a ticket. So that type of marketing worked out really well for him. And he was literally paying a guy to go out and do those. And he built his business up.
A homeless guy or just like an actual W-2?
Yeah, like an employee, yeah. No, the homeless guys, they would just roll it up and try and smoke it. But no, this guy, I'm just kidding. Well, it depends. You guys are, I don't know how close to Austin you are. But anyways, yeah. So anyways,
far away.
Yes. So anyways, there's a lot of out of the box marketing things you could do. And that's what I like to do. I like to try those out. That's like I said, it's a fluid budget. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm not going to go hire anybody to go put anything on anybody's cars because it was 9 degrees out this morning. But anyways, there's a lot of different pieces. There's a lot of good, things to think about. Now, this I consider like swag, right? It's a giveaway, this little duck that I'm holding. But It's still fun. And the flowers, to me, the flowers to me are fun because I like to do things that people enjoy.
Now, does your internet connection, think about this for yourselves. Does your internet provider offer some sort of, hey, if you refer somebody, you get $50 and they get $50? Like I've seen that all over the
My
place,
wife
right?
is employed by that, so I don't do that because.
Okay, so Kevin's going to be removed from this conversation. That's fine. So I don't know about you, but I've never done it. And I actually would almost feel dirty actually recommending it to somebody. Does anyone, like, do you feel that way? Does anyone else feel that way? That it's kind of like, if I like my provider, I will talk about that when it comes up in the conversation, but to force it for $50, I just feel like a cheap, yes, it got bleeped out there. So how do you guys feel about that? What are your thoughts? Have you ever actually tried to get the $50 for referring somebody for your internet provider?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So Joe, maybe that answers your question about loyalty rewards, right? I mean, like as far as a referral piece, now again, if they're already loyal, why are you? Right. I don't know. Why are you giving away free money?
I would say you track it. That somebody comes in, they say, "Hey, who brought you here?" Well, Brad said you guys are awesome, right? So he referred you, but you didn't sell. You didn't. So then you could reward them. If you that's the way I typically do it. That's why I stayed away from the whole refer a friend program, because it kind of naturally happened. Again, we've got 75 years in, not but there's so being here this long. There's a lot of people that have been like fleets of vehicles or families, fleets of vehicle repairs, and then there's people that never heard of us that have been here for 20, 30. You know what I mean? You get new people in. So the refer a friend program, you're right, Brad, because nothing pisses me off more than when I go to the bank and they're like, open a new checking account, you get a free casserole dish. And I'm like, I've flowed millions of dollars through here and I want a casserole dish. I'm like, oh, well, you're not eligible. All right, well, let me pull my money out. I'm going to go next door to XYZ Bank.
Now, what do you think about this? It's the same thing, but with a slightly different spin. Okay. And so I want to get your opinion on this approach. The customer comes, it's Christmas time and you're thinking about, stocking stuffers or just small gifts that you have to give away, or your brother-in-law shows up at your house for Christmas. He wasn't expected to come. And now all of a sudden you need to have a gift in your back pocket to give to him because he didn't know he was coming in the first place. I don't know if you have that situation or not, but anyway, so I know of a shop that what they did was they actually have a to and from gift. They actually present it. The card actually looks like it's been purchased, and it's a free oil change. And so they've just got their car serviced. They've just spent $1,000 on brakes or whatnot, and they're given a free oil change. And then they write their name in the from, like the customer service person writes Harry's name in the from, so he can't give it to himself, but he can give it to whoever he wants to. I did
a program like that.
As a cheap gift. He got out of buying a gift for this person.
So I did a program like something similar. One thing I got to get out of my head before this year, I had Stellar's Garage ornaments made. It's pretty cool. It's a blue, like our logo is blue and white, and it was cheap. And the reason is because my wife's karate school, I try and think out of the box every year for something for her, like as a gift from Kevin. So I did her logo, and like, oh, I might as well do Stellar's ones. So that went over well. I did it too late in the year. So if you're going to do it next year, do it like in October. So you can start giving them out in November. So oh my God, what did you just mention that
my question was whether or not that idea, that version is a little bit different, little less dirty. That it's a gift that you're giving, that there's no, the person who paid the $1,000 to have their brakes done, they're not getting paid to do the referral, but they're given a gift card to give to somebody else so that they can look like
So what I did one year was, and it was hard to find a company to do this. Again, it's paper. I know you guys all, want to get text messages. So anyways, I sent out Christmas cards to our customer base, and it was, thank you. It was a regular Christmas card, and inside it had a coupon. And it was like, thank you so much for your service over the year. Here's a $25 gift coupon for you. And here are two more for you to give away.
Okay, one for you, one for
So
two
it's
others. Okay.
$75, right? So if you
Yep.
if you give this away, have the person, there's like a little form, the thing, and it was referral. Give this to a new customer,
I get it. You're putting a different spin
and
on it.
then
Yep.
you'll get $25 back to credit to Stellar's Garage as well. So they could essentially get $75, right, to themselves, right?
Okay.
They're 25 and another 25, another 25.
All right. So it's very similar
And
to
then,
the
and then
internet
the other
connection, right?
customer gets $25 off their bill, which sucked because typically the new customer comes in for an oil change, and we're not making money on oil changes anyway. So it was
Right.
just like, but I heat my place with oil. So hopefully they came in at January or February. I'd never put an expiration date on it. And I'm telling you, it was like 5 or 7 years later, I had people coming in with this piece of paper, and you gotta use it. But that worked out really well. And the reason it dropped out of my life was because there's no companies out there that would kind of do that anymore. You have to do it in-house. You'd have to, you could get the Christmas cards from everybody, but it's very hard to find somebody that's going to say, okay, we'll stuff this other coupon in for you.
Okay. All right. So again, these are different versions of the standard loyalty programs that you would use in your POS. What makes them different? Just the fact that you're doing it a little bit different. Like Kevin, you've expressed there was value in doing that. I don't know how many jobs you have to get from it, but I think it sounds like it's worthwhile trying if the tracking is low enough and it doesn't feel icky. Is that the consensus here?
Yes.
When you broke it down, it's almost essentially, it's very similar, but it does not feel key. So, yeah, I think that would actually work. I might do that. And I really like your Christmas card idea. You got some good ideas, Kevin. I like it.
Yeah, I'm a marketing genius. You want me to tell you the failures? What the rest of this?
Well, right. That's the reality is that when you try enough good stuff, to find a handful of good stuff.
So you have those rubber duck things. My wife works from home, and she's on Zoom all day. So I'm in her office, and she's got probably
The squeeze balls?
20 little fidgets that she plays with all day. So that's a good idea.
But you
to
mentioned
give for that customer who worked from home.
You mentioned pens, and I wanted to throw this out there before because so last year we went to Zion National Park. If you haven't been there, you got to go there. And the younger you are, the more you got to do it because we walked up the Narrows. If you're not familiar with the Narrows, it's like a whole day hike up a river in the water, but it's awesome. So we stayed at Cable Mountain Lodge. The other day, I don't know, last week or whatever, I'm writing checks out or something, and I have this pen in my pocket. And I'm on a Zoom meeting, and I got this pen, and I'm like, I start playing with it. Well, this thing, I don't know if you could see it, but this thing's got a freaking fidget spinner in it
on
the pen. And I'm not that type of guy.
So it's a styly fidget toy.
It's got got the little rubber thing on the end for your style. Yeah, the pen.
Right.
But I just found it hilarious because when you said, yeah, we give out pens, and Brad's like, that's stupid. And I'm thinking, it's not really, because now I'm thinking about my great experience at Cable Mountain Lodge, and I want to go back there. So I'm going to get some Mike's Cars
they
pens
made
made
their
up
pen,
with the fidgets.
but Kevin, I like it, but listen, here's what I like about it, right? They made it different from the standard bank pens.
Yeah.
Right? Like don't go cheap. If you're going to do a pen, make it yours. Make it unique.
So like a big feather
valuable.
with a fancy oil dipping quill. Maybe that's why I should go back to old school.
Yeah, that might
See
be
them
unique.
go match with my Windows 7.
Fire pressure gauges with your too generic, but I've given out those, and will come actually to me. Oh, there, no, my tire. Saw your name on there. It's always on there, and I guess people air up their own tires less and less.
But here's the thing. Again, it comes back to practicality in my mind, right? So I don't know. I
Here's
maybe.
I
mean, I don't
know
how
your
many people actually use
demographic,
them.
right? Because okay,
That's true.
so my wife is a gearhead, and I think I don't know if I mentioned this earlier about her restoring her '92 Ford Ranger. Did I bring that up already? Because it's like I talk about that all the time. Yes or no? All right. So she's a mechanical engineer by trade. And she went to school for metallurgy, and she worked in a nuclear power plant. Currently, she's working for the phone company for like the last 30 years. She's a grand master of Hapkido. She's the first woman to achieve that rank in that organization. So I hold her on a slightly higher pedestal than most. But she's a freaking gearhead, and she's got this '92 Ford Ranger she bought brand new, and it's sitting in our yard rotten. And I'm like, dude, you got to shit or get off the pot with this thing, because I'm moving it around. She's not driving it. Water's leaking in. She's like, oh, I want to go take it for a ride. And the exhaust will fall off. It was just not reliable. So anyways, she's doing a full frame off restoration, right? So she's, I don't know where this went with the marketing shit, but
I will bring it back. Go ahead. Keep going.
she's doing a full
find a
frame
way.
off restoration, and and you've got to, like, how do you put a value on that? But it's going to be mint, and so that's what we've been spending our time with lately. I'm working with, oh, this is there. Now it's coming full circle. So what's happening is she's like dying to go to these car shows. I've employed a lot of people over the years, and we're still family. And one particular person that we're so close with, he got married when, he started dating this girl years ago while he was working for us. They're married. They have kids. The kid goes to Nonawag High School, which is an agricultural school. And they have like drive your tractor to school day. And they once a year have an automotive or a car show. And I absolutely hate going to car shows because I don't care about them. Like, I'm okay. But Ellen loved them. And we went to this one, and it's like, wow, this is a lot of fun. I saw a lot of people. I was looking at some really cool cars and trucks and agricultural equipment and stuff. So it's a fun one to go to. Well, this year, I had to donate so much swag to it because I had 5,000 keychains made, and then I got the ducks, and you got, I do microfiber cloths with our logo on them. And so when you're talking about the different swag and different marketing,
got those.
You like, that's cool to put into a bag or add it to the local car shows. And now I got involved with freaking Seymour Lions Club. I didn't realize, like, I wrote a check out for to sponsor it. But when you sponsor a car show, watch out for this, because you may have to vote and give the trophies away, which I hate doing, because what do you do? Like, how do you pick the favorite one? So now I have like other swag that we have made up pretty much just for gearheads and car shows. And the other thing you got to look out for is that the Corvette guys might hold a car show on a different night, and they're going to say, hey, Stellar's Garage, we do this car show. Can you sponsor us and give us swag? So it is another piece of marketing, and it's fun. So I'm not kidding you, man. I am so looking forward to when Ellen could be there with her truck. Just the excitement. Dude, she looks like she's like a little kid now every time I mention it. It's in my basement now because we're restoring it in my house. But the amount of excitement she gets from that, all the rest of the stuff that's going on in the world, all the negativity and everything, she gets really happy from that. And the same kind of attitude goes to people at car shows. They're really happy to show their car. This is something they're very enthusiastic about. So again, with that woman receiving that flower that she, was in a different state, and it brought her spirits up. I like to align my swag with that, where people are happy, they get free crap, and they're like, and they're going to use this keychain on their, they put their 92 Ford Ranger keys on their Stellar's Garage keychain.
All right. So practical is one way of swag, and fun and uplifting is another way to go with.
And again, it's still marketing, and
are you
going to
have Are you going to have the garage name painted on the side of the?
No, God, no. Listen, so she said to me, she's like, I'm not driving this thing in the winter. She goes, I'm not driving in the winter. She said it so many times. And I started ordering plow kits for a 92 Ford Ranger. She's like, what is that? I said, well, you're not going to drive it in the winter, so I might as well drive it in the winter. I mean, if you've seen pictures of this, it's a total frame off. Sandblasted frame, everything's gone through. I mean, and all right. But anyways.
Now, again, in this scenario, it's your own basement. It's your wife, not you personally. But if you were, let's say that you were the one doing this side project, posting that on social media.
I'm trying to do that now. She's the one. I told her video it. We can have just monetize it.
Yes. I'm thinking that the Stellars is on one door and the name of her karate school is on the other door. And yeah, absolutely. No, and then you take a picture of the left side or the right side, and you post it.
Brad, even just the fact, like, I'm getting hurt, I'm taking pictures of every step of the way. And so Friday, I know this is like, going off the rails, but anyways, I have a 3,500 square foot building over here that's kind of like empty, and I was going to have her restore everything here because we're here. It's a shop, right? I mean, it's on my property, right?
Right.
Well, When I say I have a basement, I have a 60 by 40 foot basement that I put a garage door in once. And I have an '07 F-150 down there, an '89 Mustang GT, a 1960 Nash Metropolitan, my Harley, a quad, and all the rest that you have in a basement, right? So she has her cab. We made like this dolly so her old cab could fit on it. It still has a dash and everything in it. And then she's like, I want to get this frame in this body home. I'm like, that's insane. Like, well, everything's here. But then it dawned on me, that makes total sense because everything's there. Her interior's there, the wiring is there, like the entire rest of the other trucks are there. So anyways, it's at home in our basement. So we dropped the body on. I had her friend who's helping her out 100%. He came down. He's like, he's done over 50 of these types of jobs. So last Friday before the storm, we put the body on and we were like, all right, well, let's put this back in the other building. I'm like, no, let's just take it home. So it's a good thing I have a 4-wheel drive flatbed because I had to drive across my lawn into my backyard, get the thing there, and then we ended up, and then snow hit, and we've had so much snow. So she has gone down there almost every night and said goodnight to it. And but when I told her, I was like, you got to start taking pictures. So I've been taking pictures of this all along. And yeah, I could market it. And this is the reason I don't market it for Stellar's Garage, because we're not a restoration shop, but it would be,
but
it draws attention.
Just to explain where I'm coming from when I'm talking about marketing it, when you're talking about new customers for your shop, people are trying to determine whether or not they trust, they know you, right? And so you're not necessarily saying, look at me, Stellar's Garage. Just the fact that you're doing this project and sharing this as a part of your business profile page and your personal page, people are getting to be more familiar with you. And so maybe it's not car restoration, maybe it's marathons. Okay, maybe it's probably not marathons, but whatever it is, and for you, Kevin, it's also food. So like post it, and that's not necessarily even out of your marketing budget.
So speaking of that, because Stellar's Garage is terrible on this, and I'm sure Joe got it covered already. You do TikTok videos or reels? Man,
Who?
The shop.
I gotta have somebody do it for me because I'm not that guy.
You could become that guy.
Yes.
What's that, Drew?
My wife handles that, and we're not a resto shop, but we are that's not like our main thing. But we are one of the few shops in town that will take on older vehicles, and we do. No, I'm not going to say like a real resto like you see on these TV shows where but we will restore older cars, and we do quite a bit of them. And as you guys probably know, a lot of them have just been sitting in people's garages and they need a full fuel system. But yeah,
or Kevin's basement.
Yes, or that. I would love to have that basement, by the way.
Right.
So anyway, we don't have. Anyway, so I will keep those at the front of the shop for up there by where the service desk is, and I will take pictures of the progress of those, and my wife will post them here and there because nobody wants to see you doing a brake job on a dirty oil-filled truck, a 21 F50. They really want to see that video of you working on that,
the dashboard out or something, or old cars, right?
Stuff like that where it's really, you get to see a part of a car where you don't get to see it. Like when we lift the body off when we're doing an engine on the Fords, we'll do that. But like the older ones where we're restoring Mustangs and Corvettes and cool cars. And I mean, we even have some really old ones. And my views on those are so much higher than, okay, it's getting cold. Check your antifreeze. Nobody cares about that. But they see those.
Nobody cares about that post.
Yeah.
Well, right.
I'm not saying you never do that post. I'm saying that that if that is your common post, you're not getting any kind of engagement on your social media. Like it needs to be, and that kind of goes back to what I was saying with Kevin, right? Be you, post what you're doing that actually gets your heart racing.
I got to do that like soon with this restoration thing. Seriously.
And that actually will fly better than check your antifreeze, right? Wow. And so that's kind of my point. And that's, again, not specifically the marketing budget because you're just putting in your own little time just to snap a couple of pictures or videos and get them up there.
Yeah. The other day we got, this is mice time, right? And I don't know whether you experienced it down in Texas as much as we in the Northeast experience rodents living inside of cars now. Yeah. And, this air filter that my guy pulled out, he took a picture of it and it was nuts. It was just full of just stuff. And it was like
mouth poop.
Yes. No, mostly like food. You know what I mean? Like there was like literally like nuts in there, both acorns and somebody had like a peanut bag or something. So first time customer. And this would have been awesome to like video, like, we could explain how to check your cabin air filter, right? This was a cabin air filter. And so when we pull it out, the guy pulls it out, puts a new one in, sell it, whatever. The guy comes back, he's like, yo, I got this crazy noise going on and I need you to look at it literally like the same day. And what happened was when he pulled it out, there was a hole in the cabin air filter. So some nuts like made its way into the blower. So we ended up taking it out, for free, pulling the blower out and taking all the nuts out. I said to the dude, I was like, listen, I'm going to eat it, but yes, it's our fault because we dropped the nuts in there, but like those nuts we didn't put in there, But
all right, well, you're not talking about eating the nuts. You're talking about eating the
we
cost.
ate the cost,
of,
yeah.
Okay, right. Okay, just checking, just making sure.
Yeah, I keep forgetting. Well, they were pretty good, But anyways, so that would have been fun to say, to show them, even if it was just a quick reel of like, hey, this is what happened and this is what happened, because it draws attention, like you said. But on my website, if you were to look at stellarsgarage.net and see that there's I got like antique. There's a picture of our bays and there's all antique cars in there, not antiques, but older cars, and that kind of creates a problem because we don't really like to work on those and they're not profitable, and we stay away from that. Mm-hmm. But the other thing that I don't think Drew sees much of is we do brake lines on the daily. Like we literally stock lines and ends, and
because they rust there so much
every day.
So we don't really we are very arid, dry climate out here in the desert, so we don't have that problem. And when you're talking about rust, your other business with your rust undercoating and all that, I was thinking, my mom's family's from Maine, and everybody's truck is just wrecked on the underside. Right. We'll get a few of those cars that'll be from the coast and be in here and just rust, but no, we don't see that much of that.
I did a short video of our undercoating years ago, and it went viral because as it was being applied and things like that. So again, when we're talking marketing, that in marketing budget, it's almost free to do that, right? But we don't take advantage of
there's a time component. That's what it is. There's a time component, and if you can't give that time, then you've got to delegate it, and now you're paying an employee. And you're probably not going to say, okay, this percentage of this employee's time is spent on marketing, so I'm going to move that over to the marketing budget. But it is part of what needs to happen. And as far as how to make the brake videos more interesting, then speed them up. Do a full brake job video, set up a tripod, do the full brake job video, and then put it on 10x, and or show your teammates, your coworkers, just enjoying each other. Right? I was talking to a shop down in Florida, and they were saying that it's basically a dance party that they have. He didn't call it a dance party, but they're rocking music all the time, and it's like a party at their shop, right? And so, doing that, recording that, and getting that out to social media is helpful. That's
just speaking about now we're talking about old cars, antique stuff, and marketing budget. I just want to ask. Well, I just want to ask my peers. I just want to ask my peers here. So it was a 54 big job wrecker. So if I go and find one of those restored and it costs me $100,000, I could put that towards my marketing budget, right? Because we put Stellar's Garage on the side of it. Can I justify the cost of it to my marketing?
I mean,
are you going to enter it in parades?
Yeah.
I don't know if your ROI will exactly be there immediately, but it is really cool, and it sounds like it's a passion thing for you. But if I saw somebody with a cool record like that, it would make me want to, hey, give them a chance if I haven't never. So, yes, it's probably more for you, but
no, because I can't really share the pictures behind us, but that was George Stellar was actually just known as Big Job. They would call him Big Job and I'm like, I would love to get my hands on that record. You know what I mean? But
an iconic record in your area,
there's a lot of because this area has been here for so long, and there's so many different because heavy industry and everything like that was here for so long that we have a lot of old record services in our area. And Tracy's Garage is local to us. They started in 1930, and they do heavy truck repair. They do our stuff. No, I was just joking around because you see a lot of these shop owners like to write off their cigarette boat into the marketing budget. The logo on it. I'm just wondering, for the sake of conversation, what can we do with our marketing budgets? How far can we stretch it?
As long as every now and then you can make your dream records.
Well, you can say whatever you want to say and put it in marketing, just as long as your accountant approves, and he or she is ready to go to bat for you when those IRS people come knocking. But let's dial it. Let's actually talk real quick about. So it sounds like we have a general number, or general percentage that actually goes up and down based on profitability from the prior year, and based on whether our accountants tell us to spend more money.
And success rate.
And then, the success rate is, I don't know that we've nailed down how successful all of these things are, right? Like, I get asked all the time, what's the return on this? And they want to know the exact number of dollars that they're going to get with their marketing investment as opposed to spend. A wrecker, not really, maybe it's an investment, but not a marketing investment.
This is 1951. It's for 1954, big job. Okay.
Oh, of course. Then never mind. No, but seriously, like, what I'm trying to say is, like, if you're trying to invest in your business, right? Is it just a flat percentage, or is it based on what your accountant tells you, or how much of it goes towards Snail? We haven't really talked much about how much you're investing digitally. And, I think I already know Drew's answer. Again, it depends on whether or not oil is up or down. So Kevin, what about you? What are you doing? How do you determine how much to spend digitally?
Well, again, when we talk digitally, you got to break it down to different segments. Like, I could tell you for
how much you spend on AdWords.
Well, AdWords, I'm very low. It's like $100 $100 a month. But that's it. You got to look at what I'm doing overall. And again, I'm not going to mention the companies. So again, we do the digital. When you say digital, we do that 15-second ad and that 30-second ad, and that goes out to streaming, goes out. And then there's also banner ads. Like, if you're playing Clash of Clans and you're in my area, here's come visit Stellar's Garage or something at the bottom. And I don't see all of it. But a lot of different, that's a large part of my budget in the last year. And so, when we talk dollars, greater than 25,000 a year I spend on that kind of stuff. But when it comes to Google AdWords,
and it's interesting, that's all brand related, right? That's all brand recognition. Like, they're not going to be listening to a Spotify song and then say, "Oh, I need to get my oil changed." It's just getting your awareness that you exist, so that when they do that Google search, they might search for your name instead of. Or they do search for auto repair near me, and then they see your name, and then they make that connection. And that goes back to what I was saying about, trying to figure out the return specifically on search versus AI searches versus streaming ads versus AdWords and so on. They're all working together.
Google Analytics helps me out to see the source.
Sure.
And then if I have people doing my marketing, I usually have a tracking way to track what I'm marketing with them and where it's coming from. So it's not just, they looked up this. It was actually whatever they saw it on a mostly phones. Mobile phones is like greater than 80% of what people are using for it, and desktops is next. Tablets is a very, very thin margin. I just saw a report today of.
Well, desktops is real small too. Mobile phones are the primary.
It's bigger than I expected. For desktops in this area for people so I'm imagining it's that older people.
Maybe the Windows 7 thing is actually like contagious. And
that's what it is.
I don't know.
Or my Windows 7 machine is locked up and it just keeps hitting Stellar's Garage, and that's the tracking I'm getting. I don't know. But again, it's hard. I think, maybe I'm letting myself down and the rest of the world down as a business owner, and I should be better on my finances to tell you the exact dollar amount. If I could actually run a report and tell you exactly what I spent marketing. But the thing is, as we've determined as this group in this discussion, is that we really don't know what we spend annually on marketing, because what is considered marketing? right? We painted the outside of the building. We painted the inside of the building. I changed signage. I buy sweatshirts. We give stuff away. We do this stupid rubber ducky thing, and, there's so many. I got to go find out where they Cable Mountain Lodge bought these spinner pens now. So fidget pens. No. So realistically, that's why I say it's a fluid thing. I feel comfortable saying that it's probably been around 5% of gross sales. When I heard that number years ago when I got involved with learning more about how to run my business and all of that, when they mentioned if you told a shop owner first time they hear it's 5% of gross, their mind just explodes, right? It's like, I'm not even, most people weren't even taking home 5% of gross, because they're not running their business right. I'm dead serious. Like, you pay your guys what? And then you start to look at it. And once you educate yourself into different facets of business and you start to get control of it, you pay down debt and all this other good stuff related to shop management and shop owner, then now we're having these conversations as real, entrepreneurs and good managers. And, I'm really happy to get to know you guys today also. And I'm really happy. It sounds like you guys are very successful. And it sounds like we're all going through the same thing. We have our ups and downs. When you mentioned the oil industry, the only thing that really affects us local, and I mentioned Sikorsky Aircraft earlier today, is when they lose contracts from the government. I've seen that really affect us. And it's a mental game because there's not like 100,000 employees over there. But what it is that because I'm very close to Sikorsky Aircraft where they build Black Hawks and whatnot. And what happens is when they pull back dollars from that, people the delis are affected, the gas stations are affected, everything in the area is really affected by it because they're just like in this paranoid state of like, we're not going to have any jobs. And like almost like the government shutdown kind of attitude, but it's like right in this local area. We can't forecast for that. So what we try to do is just forecast for continual growth. And that's what, once that happened in the past, it's like, well, why don't I let this happen again? February, we had 48 inches of snow one year.
That's awesome.
Awesome. It locked the state down. I got to tell you, we were coming to work in a 92 Ford Ranger though, to shovel this area out. But you can't forecast for that kind of slowdown. So two things, you want to have reserves in place to pay your crew to stay home, right? And keep your bills paid.
Yeah. Reserves.
And then, and then you also want to forecast for better times. Or if I know February usually is a slower month, I try and ramp up marketing, prior to that. And, that's.
So I like the way you just said that, right? So you don't wait for the slow to happen. You try to actually ramp up the marketing prior to the slow. So I don't know how easy that is for you, Drew, when you're actually looking at oil prices going up and down or if you're paying attention to futures, but you kind of want to kind of build the marketing prior to the slowdown.
You can always WTI index that tells you the barrel of oil. They kind of give you an idea what the futures are, and I pay attention to what's going on globally, yada yada yada. And that will help me get ahead of the curve of when you will start to see a lot of my fleet work is oil companies, and the good thing about them is when the price of barrel oil is good, their drivers bring their trucks in, beat the crap, and they tell me everything you can as fast as you can, and send me the bill. And we'll pay. We say 30 days, but we all know it's like 90 to 120 days before they pay. But they'll pay it. They want to fix everything. Well, then the price of barrel oil falls out. The bottom falls out of it, and they literally will park those trucks. They'll put these people on furlough, whatever you want to call them, and nobody's spending any money. So then I will ramp up a different type of marketing. Like you said, when you're looking forward to February being slow. I also know that a lot of people get their tax return money. So I'll go back and I'll look at my analytics. Who is somebody that has a little bit of an older car? And I'm not saying I'm profiling, but whatever. And if you haven't been in and it's probably needed some maintenance that you didn't fix last time because you didn't have the money for it in June,
right?
I'm going to holler at you right before tax return season because there's a good chance you're going to get a chunk of money and I'm buying a bunch of new sneakers. Hey, do we need?
So not after the tax season. Yeah. Just before, as tax season, just before the due date, you're actually putting your stuff out there.
Christmas, and I'm, telling them, hey, you're implying, hey, bring me all your tax return money, but you're letting them know that oil leak's not getting any better, is it? I'm getting
right.
business like that. So yeah,
No, I've had Jeeps where, I didn't even need to do an oil change. It changed itself. I just had to replace the filter every so often.
And you don't have to undercoat it. That's the beauty.
Right. That's also true. The Jeep is old enough that'll do that for you. Hey, Joe, based on your experience, is there anything in Gettysburg that actually is going to dictate, like the way it does for Kevin or Drew, as far as other outside factors that are going to increase or decrease the volume at your shop? Does the Gettysburg History Museum, ramp up in the summertime for people coming in? And maybe they're not your customers. I don't know.
We did find out, like within the past 3 or 4 years, like cars aren't breaking down. So we don't get a whole lot of tow-ins from tourists and that sort of thing. We do have it is a college town, and it is college parents got money, so that's a plus. One of the things that really benefits us, I don't know, maybe not, is we don't have a quick lose at anywhere. We don't have one within probably 20 miles.
Okay.
And then the rest of the shops, there's some decent shops around us, but being in business for as long as we have, we have our great customers. But I don't just tourists.
Yeah. Back to the college thing. We've got some shops that we work with who, they regularly get calls from the parents of the college students.
Yes.
And they love the DVIs because they're getting sent the DVIs of the cars that they're paying for. Such a different world. I mean, I took care of my own car when I was in college.
And generally speaking, they want their kids safe.
I'll digress.
They got to fix it.
So,
no.
All right, don't make me feel bad about it. I'm just saying, like,
I've got a suggestion or an idea for you then if you're in a college town. But one thing I got to get off my head before I forget is when we slow down and, we're not, the oil industry, the weather, those are excuses. That's the reality is it happens. People, and the thing is to think outside of that and just say, yeah, I mean, if everybody's like, oh man, yeah, Drew, how you doing? Oh, I'm slow. Yeah, me too. And you call all the other shops and they're just like, oh, well, that's just the way we're going to accept it. You're just submitting to demise.
Get creative. Yeah. Is what you're saying. Get creative. Here's the circumstance. It's, presidential election season. Too bad. What can we do different?
Right? Everything that goes. And that's what I've tried to get my head wrapped around is like, we're kind of in control of our own destiny. We could do whatever we want. Right. And Joe, so one thing I want to start doing, and I really haven't, was educational night. So to either new drivers, and then there's like the women. There's a. I told Brad about this. Women auto know, and there's it's Audra or Audrey, and I forgot how to pronounce it. But she started this program, and so she wants to make it national. That you have a night when you just invite people over and you open up the doors and you get a schedule of people to learn their cars, right? But if you did it,
and again, that's womenauto.know.com.
I think it is, right?
So women AUTO know.
But she's going to change it to people auto know because instead of just be more than that. But so she has a structure, and there's other like AC Delco had it, Napa had it, so they have like an educational night. Right. And this is a marketing thing. If I were in a college town, I would definitely do this to the college. And you just have one night that whatever, you limit it to 10 people, 20 people, whatever, make it a structured event so that they know okay, this is what you do. This is the basic maintenance, how to check your fluids, that kind of stuff, right? How to change a tire, where to find the stuff to change your tire. You open up the trunk, what's this round looking eyelet thing for? Well, this is in case you got to get pulled out of the mud. This goes here. You know what I mean? What's this funnel for? Well, that funnel is because normal gas cans won't work in these new cars. So, if you run out of gas, you need this. This is where everything's at. A lot of people never even open up the hatch of their, the back of their car. Don't even know the spare tires there. They may not have a spare tire. That's a good time to learn that they don't have a spare tire, but it's a feel good thing because you're helping other people out. And I'm all about helping people out. And if it comes back and they become a customer, that's cool too. But it's it's not that expensive to do. And if you reached out to your AC Delco or your Napa, we were talking earlier about the swag bags. They typically have something. You'll have an AC Delco tire thing, or you could build your own. And that's kind of like on my goal list for this year is to, try that out and see how it works. I mean, especially with my wife having a karate school, I could just put a sign over there. and that'll draw people to it. But the college, you get their permission to go, advertise for it, or just put it on your digital marketing. You're going to do this. So that'll help you during social.
Well, don't just put it out there. So put it out there, but also target your marketing for an event like that to your existing customers. And then, especially if it's a social oriented event aspect to it, right? So you've got a nice waiting room. Didn't you say you had a nice waiting room set up, Joe? All right. So you put an Xbox in the, on the big screen, and you invite, and you have the guys, or the girl, I don't care. Just like you have, like, maybe that's I think we're going to be playing Madden. Half you playing Madden, and then we're going to rotate people in the shop, showing them on their spare tires. And when that's not happening, you switch. You guys play Madden, and we'll show them the spare. But if you have a social component to it, target your existing customers first to get them to spread the word. Because if you just post about it on Facebook, depending on, especially if you've only had posts the way Drew was talking about, hey, check your antifreeze.
The cheapest
nobody's
marketing
going to show up.
Yeah.
No, because no one's paying attention to your page. So, well, right. But where I was going with that is, if you're going to just post about it, you first need to have content on your social that people want to engage in, want to pay attention to. Back to the Ford Ranger. So if you just have the antifreeze content, then nobody's going to notice when you post at this social event. So you have to start with your customers or
Ford Ranger, and they're going to come back. I forget for weeks or months, but hey, come back. Oh, look, the Ford Ranger's got this done.
Well, she could crush it on YouTube. Yep. We could be getting Ford Ranger restoration money from YouTube monetization. You know what I'm saying?
The resto videos and stuff like that, they get significantly more views than the other ones,
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Sure.
But the point I'm trying to make is that, we should be in charge of our own destiny, in our employees, in our customers and everything. And, with the changing of, like, we were talking about digital vehicle inspections, that's part of a marketing, cause that's especially prior to COVID, when everybody was working together and not at home talking on freaking Zoom meetings. But like, hey, Joe, I don't know what the hell is this thing the guy sent me, what's his video? It's like, oh, dude, your tie rod's like shot. That's like, oh, wow. Like, now that's pretty cool. Who sent you that? Stellar sent me that. Oh, that's awesome.
DDIs are awesome.
And it creates, but so, what's the next thing? You know what I mean? That's where I'm at, is you got to think about what we could do as an industry to work. The DVIs are good because it's really changing perception of us, greasy mechanics that are always trying to steal from them. It's like, listen, I don't care, man. Here's your brakes. Especially in New England, we just got this attitude. Like this is it. You fix it, you fix it. I don't care. It's going to cost you one way or another. Take it, break down. I'm going to tow you. I'm at $175 tow rate. So here you go. That kind of thing. But
okay,
go ahead, Brad.
No, I was just, I'm looking at the time, and the longest podcast we've ever had in a panel was 2 hours and 15 minutes, actually. And it was about time management. And I would hate to have, right. Yeah. So I'd hate to have this marketing conversation beat that, because I still love that reality, that irony. I love irony. So we're going to wrap up in a couple minutes here, but
I don't even know when did we
so let's
start.
actually do a round robin on
an hour and 42 minutes.
Well, not that long. I didn't even realize it's been an hour. Wow.
Well, then we're having a good time, and that's also important to this. So yeah, and hopefully we're sharing ideas that are going to be valuable to people. I don't know that we've given people a mathematical formula, which is how my mind works, by the way. I like step 1, step 2, step 3. That's how I process things. But I didn't hear that from you. I heard more of pay attention to the factors, think creative, and then apply.
So I'm really afraid that I was going to be the only one on here that didn't have I spent this many dollars and this percentage on this every year, and I was kind of afraid I was going to be that guy.
I didn't want to be that guy. I didn't want to be that guy when I pull the reports and I start telling you, well, last year I spent
the same here. So yeah, it's
all kind of the same. In fact, Drew, I think maybe we should take just a guess. How many of these panels would I have to have about this topic before I found one shop owner who had it regimented the way we just
I could tell you what, you call John
you're
Starkey.
Probably in
you
good
call
company,
John Starkey, you're not going to talk to him. You talk to the woman who is in charge there, and she could probably tell you down to the penny.
Okay.
Starkey, he's... This is what happens.
So if I do this panel 5 times and I don't have anybody, I'll bring him on just so we get
Yeah,
somebody.
well, he'll probably lie to you anyways. But no. No, the thing is, like, so as time progresses, the longer we're in it, the kind of it just evolves to less attention on different things because, like I said earlier about my marketing calendar, I have it. I don't, I know things that I have to do, but there's already things in like the flowers. They're delivered every Monday, and every month we write them a check or they get paid. I don't call them up. It's not a piece of my attention's not on it. I can't even tell you what I spent last month on flour. Right. I should be able to. I could if you really wanted to know. But the same thing with the Every Door direct mailer. It's just set up. What's how much do I spend every month for my Google AdWords? I don't remember. Like I'd have to look it up. So and that's what happens once we have these things in play and it is a successful action. We really don't readdress it. I mean, our lights are on every day, and the only time I know how much it is when I sign the check, and I don't even really look at it. So it's really hard to nail down, Brad, I know you're a numbers guy. The reality is I can bullshit you with a number. I'm going to tell you about it. I think all marketing told I'm pretty close to 5% of my gross sales. I may be over some years, but
especially if you're doing, building restoration in your marketing budget, you're definitely over. But listen, I just went out to your Facebook page and I'm going to slap you on the wrist. I see 0 pictures of carnations. Knock that off. Get that fixed. I'm telling you, that is something that's worth posting. The flowers are in. We're giving these away. This is not new. This is what our customers know. This is how we treat them.
I can't tell you the last time.
Like, there's your post.
I can't tell you the last time I was on my Facebook page. No, I could because. All right. So like and share. Like and share, everyone. Like and share.
Get somebody to do that for you because that's silly that's not happening. You know what? Make it part of the person who's delivering the flowers, part of their tip. If they take the picture and post it to your Facebook page, you'll tip them more for the delivery. How about that? Get that done. It's a beautiful food. All right. So we've heard from Kevin. Kevin, that was your wrap up. I don't know if you realize that or not. Drew, what kind of things you want to say to kind of close out the conversation about marketing budget? Any final thoughts?
Just kind of go roll with the punches with your marketing budget, but know where your limit is. You don't want to overextend yourself if you're not seeing the ROI. And if it's not you, then at least have somebody that monitors what I can't tell 100%, but how successful was that? Should I put that much less, more into that next year? And I don't have a exact dollar amount. Just kind of be aware of what the situation is in your market and adjust accordingly to it. And don't overspend, but don't underspend. And
if you underspend, it's going to be trouble. Joe, I'm going to ask you a little bit of a different question. You're more than welcome to also, add your final thoughts. But was there anything here in today's conversation that you're like, okay, I'm leaving with this idea or this thought process? Was there anything that kind of hit you in the face is something that you had to
Kevin's
consider
pens,
before?
that was pretty cool. Yeah. I'm just going to
fidget pens. Okay.
I think I just need to actually sit down and see like what I'm paying, what I do need to budget especially as a new business owner. Then I like to stick with what works too. I don't know what I would want to change. I don't want to take away, but I would like to add more, more stuff to it, especially that direct mailer towards that 55 and up community. I think that's great, especially it'll hit to their age. They just don't throw a mail away. So, and then really reaching out to, different organizations, people. That's sort of I like the college thing with having that night for
Good. I just thought of another idea with the over 55. And depending on if they're actually 55, then this might not apply. But does anybody print? Can you get a reproduced version of a small newspaper? People in their 60s and 70s, they remember getting the newspaper and reading just to make sure that they didn't die. They would at least read the obituary section, right? So,
newspapers, we used to. My dad had this business before me. It was a generational thing passed down. He did service stations, excellent service stations kind of went by the wayside. They became convenience stores. So we just had automotive garage. We consolidated our techs. And what we would do is we would advertise in the print newspaper back in the day. They have this every year, the best of business in Midland, and we would market in that, and I still do. And it doesn't bring in nearly the amount that it used to.
No.
But I get so many 55 and older that read the newspaper that come in. Oh, I came here because you win gold every year and all that. And I get no kids that come in and say that anymore. It doesn't work for them at all, but it is still cost effective for me to do that promotion and win that gold every year. That really helps with the 55 and older, but the kids, they don't care.
But where I was going was like, if you could actually get a reproduction version of the newspaper and actually handed them, like, welcome to the neighborhood, here's a newspaper, and it had some history articles, and also, it's brought to you by, Mike's Cars, right? So I don't know. I don't know where that idea is going, but I mean, that's also an interesting thing, because every single one of them is like sad that there's no newspaper anymore.
So they,
I mean, am I wrong?
They put out flyers, and there's some of the communities here that they're the.
No, I'm saying you got to get the ink on your hands. It's got to be like that kind of a thing.
Do it yourself, not like that.
No, I'm saying like when you pick up the paper and you get black ink on your hands because you've been holding the paper. Like that's the kind of.
I probably still have a memory graph machine laying around. Remember those?
Right.
You're at school, like, go print this out. You're
That was
you're sitting there
purple ink,
smelling
wasn't
that.
it?
Yeah, the purple ink way, like, you're getting all stoned going back to 8th grade. Here you go. Here's your assignment. Yeah, Brad, I'm going to put one of those in. That's awesome. I can just walk around all high with the 55-year older people.
All right. Well, listen, I'm hoping that everybody that's listening to this podcast, listening to this episode, got some ideas for their shop when it comes to marketing, and got some ideas on how to actually approach the budget for their marketing for 2026 and beyond. And so again, thank you guys for coming. And guys, if you are listening in and you're trying to figure out your next digital marketing step, we tell you at AA Shop Marketing, you can just go out to our website and, or just go to addi.me/jumpstart. That's ADDI/jumpstart. I'm sorry, ADDI.me/jumpstart. And you fill out that form, and then we research your specific shop. What we didn't hear from anyone today was this is exactly what you do for every single shop in the United States. No, we heard a bunch of different ideas that apply to their local market, their local situation. And we believe the same applies to digital marketing. So I'm not going to give you the same answer that I'm going to give the last guy when you do addi.me/jumpstart, because I'm going to look at your competitors, your shop, your location, and then give you your next best marketing step. And that's no cost. That's a free thing. Go check it out. And again, if you are listening to this podcast, this is the first time, and you haven't liked and subscribed, well, then that's your loss currently, but you can fix that. Only you can fix that. You can actually just click that like button, click that notification bell, and then get notified. We're dropping episodes pretty much every Tuesday and Thursday of every week, and we're hearing and having conversations from shop owners with all sorts of ideas from across the country. Joe, Drew, and Kevin, thank you so much for being on this podcast. I appreciate you and all of your time.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.